Good morning, church. I would like to share with you some reflections on the parable of the Good Samaritan presented in Luke 10, verses 25 to 37. Let me summarize the parable. It's about a man who was traveling on the road and got beat up and robbed. A priest and a Levite passed him, saw him, but didn't help him at all. But a Samaritan, the Good Samaritan, saw him, had compassion on him, and took care of him. This parable was told by Jesus in the context of a conversation that he had with a lawyer. And I would like to point out some interesting things about this entire conversation, this whole passage, including the parable. The lawyer wanted to test Jesus. And so he asked Jesus a question: what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus responds by asking him instead, so what do you think? And the lawyer gave an answer: love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. To which Jesus responded, yeah, this is a good answer. Do this and you shall live. But for some reason, although Jesus agreed with him, this lawyer wasn't happy. Maybe he sounded a bit offended. He sought to justify himself. And so he asked Jesus, okay, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, who is my neighbor? Asking Jesus to define the term neighbor. And this is an interesting question because I think there is something a bit behind this question. As he was trying to define basically the boundaries of the law. Who am I obliged to love? Who am I legally required to love? And by definition, also, who am I not obliged to love? Who can I exclude from the love or demonstration of love? And Jesus responds to this question with a parable. And what's funny about this response is that the lawyer asks one thing, and Jesus answers with something else. And I guess he likes to do that often. The lawyer asks, who is my neighbor? But the point of the parable was, as Jesus concludes, not that question, but who was the neighbor to the man who was robbed? And the answer, of course, is the Good Samaritan. So you see, in Jesus' mind, the neighbor isn't the one who receives mercy, but the one who shows mercy. Not the one who is in need, but the one who can show love. And I find this an important thing to recall, to remember, and to do, of course. And I would encourage you to take this to heart. As Jesus says, do this and you will live. Referring to these love commands. And we often hear Jesus saying, or people saying about Jesus that he came to give life abundantly. And here he is providing us with a very specific method on how to do that. If you want life, do this. And I would encourage you to take this to heart and to try to carry out and obey this particular law. But remember that we are doing this in the context of loving God as well. So the basis is our faith in God, our love in God, and from there we love our neighbors as ourselves. And I would encourage you to try to do this, once a month or once a week or once a year, to the level that your faith enables you or supports you. And also, you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to be the one lone Good Samaritan. Find opportunities to gather with your life group members, other believers, your family, and seek opportunities to love our neighborhood. And if you need wisdom and counsel and teaching and training, then ask the pastoral team, who's supposed to provide such training to us, to teach us how to carry out our own ministry. And so I think that's really it. I hope that you can try to apply this somehow and be encouraged that this is one of the paths that Jesus recommends to eternal life.